Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, home of the Mischief Makers, and today we're looking at The Power. So welcome everyone, this is my new place now where I'm doing most of my videos. Might change location a little bit from room to room depending on what kind of video I'm doing, but this is my new dig. And I think it's rather fitting that the first review I do in my new place is a Shudder exclusive. Now if anyone subscribed to me, they know that I've got a love-hate relationship with Shudder. Now they've done one good movie, and I'm not going to keep going on about my Shudder experience every single video, because if you have watched my videos, you know how I feel about Shudder. But if you haven't, go check them out, come back to this one, and you'll see why it pains me so. So let's not waste time, shall we? Let's jump in, see if it's good, bad, or going to make me very sad. So what's this film about exactly? Well, it's about a girl called Valerie. She's a nurse starting her first day in a new hospital in East London. The film's set in 1974 or the early 70s, I think. And during this time period, there's some sort of trouble with the unions and the government, and as a result, there's some sort of blackout throughout London at this time. So there's no power going to any homes except for main places like hospitals. And when Valerie gets to this hospital, she meets a new matron who says, "Don't talk to the doctors, know your place, stay on these wards, don't leave these wards, and you'll be fine." And during the course of her first day, Valerie gets talking to this doctor. The matron sees and says, "You're working the night shift now." Valerie's not too happy about it, but the matron's got the final say because Valerie could lose her job. And then Valerie works the night shift, and then crazy things begin to happen. So let's just start with what I liked, because this is going to be a long review because not very much to speak about if I'm honest here, but let's just dive straight in. So the first thing I liked was the way it looked. To a point, there is one minute. Let's just move this over here so it doesn't happen again. But yeah, the film looked really, really good. Karina Faith, who wrote and directed this film, clearly knows what she's doing with camera. It has those Vigil vibes. You know, with Vigil where even though, I forget his name now, Vigil, but the main character where he's in the house, and even though the house is quite small, sometimes it can seem large and you feel quite exposed, like anything can come from anywhere. But also the film can feel quite claustrophobic to the point where you feel quite squeezed in, where like when the shots are quite tight behind him, you don't know what's going to happen behind or in front. It kind of reminds you of that sort of feeling. Not as good as Vigil, but just as effective. Now I did like the characters and the acting in this film too. Like Stay at the Attic had very likeable characters. I liked all of them, and it's the same with this. All the characters in this film I liked quite a lot. Even the ones that are douchebaggery. Douchebaggery? Sounds like a damn hobbit. Douchebaggery Baggins. Valerie, played by Rose Williams, she was really good. Very likeable, you don't want any harm to come to her. But she's the weakest actress out the lot. No, she's not the weakest actress. That's incorrect. She's the weakest character, that's what I mean. Because there are other characters in this film, they were just more enjoyable. Like the matron, she was in the first part and a little bit at the end. But I liked her character. And she's in it for a second and you're like, goodbye, character I liked. But yeah, there were generally much more interesting characters in this film than Valerie. But that's not to say Valerie was a bad character. It's just the other ones, I wish we spent more time with them. And I liked the first part of the film. And I'll explain to you why, because I'm about to get onto what I didn't like. But the first part had a lot of promise. So when I put this on, like the first few seconds, there's this really nice soundtrack. It almost felt like a siren on the edge of like the rocks, like beckoning you to crash your ship. Had that kind of like sound to it, and I thought, this sounds kind of cool. This is different to what I've watched with Shudder recently anyway. And then the film started, you meet Valerie, she meets the matron, a bunch of other characters, and you think, this is a cool little setup, I'm going to enjoy this. And then the film goes down a very familiar road, and like even though the cinematography is very good and sets the tone and gives you a few like chills and a few creepy moments, I've seen it before and in better films, so that's why I enjoyed the first part, because you don't know where it's going to go, but when you realise where it's going, you're like, oh, okay. Now what issues did I have with the film? There's more issues than what I liked, but like I said, this isn't a bad film, and if you watched it you probably think it was alright, it was cool. That's bad, you would never watch it again, but you can't say this is a bad film. I keep whacking something down there. I'm going to move this further back here, it's my little book. But the first thing I didn't like, now, I'm not going to lie to you, this film gets so dark at times. I had to go on the settings on my TV and change the contrast and the brightness, because I couldn't see a thing. My TV's new, so there's nothing wrong with it at all. But I was just going through the contrast thinking, oh my god, which setting do I put on? Because I get it, they're trying to make it quite scary, but I literally couldn't see the film at all. I was like, hello, movie? I can't see you anywhere, could you please come back, movie? Yeah, it was just insanely dark, it was ridiculous. Like, I barely could see anything at times. When the scares had happened, I was like, Should I have been scared there? Because if I could see what I was meant to be scared of, maybe it would have worked. And as mentioned, this film I've seen many times before, loads of times before, and once you realise what the storyline is and what they're going with, you're kind of like, oh, is this kind of film again? Oh, fair enough. And you're just waiting for the film to end. Especially in the middle. The middle is very boring. Like I mentioned, the first part, the setup, very good. Then you get into the first part of the evening where you meet like Babs, Valerie's friend from the Coven. And then, yeah, it kind of takes too long to get where you need to. And you meet other characters and there's a few scares. Like I said, cinematography is good and all that. But I just found myself looking at my phone all the time, thinking, can we just... It's like interesting happen please, and then you get to the end of the film and it wraps up, which is cool, like the ending. But the middle bit, it drags loads. And the editing choices in this film are really strange. I'm going to give you an example in a second. So there'll be bits where someone will say something to Valerie and Valerie will look all shocked. And then it will fade from her face to the next scene, but the fade is too slow. It's awkwardly slow, where you're looking at her face for ages and you're like, does anyone want to maybe speed this up? And this is what it's like. Yeah, it's that kind of awkward. Also, there's one character in this film, and this is a nitpicky but funny issue. There's a doctor in this film. He looks just like Andy Murray, the tennis player. And if you've not seen this film, and you've watched this review, and you know what I've just said about Andy Murray, when you watch this film, you cannot unsee Andy Murray. But the thing that I didn't like about this film the most, and jump scares aside, there's a few crappy jump scares where you're just like, meh. Like, not even that, you're just like, alright, jump scare, good one. There's a few creepy moments, don't get me wrong, where you might think, oh, that's weird. To be honest with you, I wasn't scared once in this film, and the main reason is, and it's like what I say all the time, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see that's scary. For example, yeah, like I was saying, sometimes it's scarier not seeing the ghost than seeing the ghost. And when you do see the entity that's in this film, the antagonist, yeah, you're not scared anymore. It's one of those ones where as soon as you see it, you're just like, oh, okay, that's not scary at all. And I wish they would just stop. No. We've done this joke before. It was funny then in the Queen's Black Magic review. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But we've done this gag. I'm sorry, we have to think of something new. Yeah, sorry. He'll be back. And that's really it, guys. Not a bad film. Good characters, good cinematography, and a few creepy moments. But really, you've seen it all before. Once you see what the entity is, it becomes not scary anymore. Some weird editing choices and more interesting characters and a good setup, which they should have done something different with, because had they done so, this could have been a really good movie. So with everything said, I'm going to give... What the hell was that? PG. I thought you said that... What? PG? He's been acting really weird lately. Never mind. So, with everything said, I'm going to give The Power a bronze win, because it's not a bad film, it's not a great film, but for Shudder, it's alright. It's a story you can enjoy with good characters, but ultimately, you've seen it done better before. So guys, that was my review of The Power. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film you've ever seen? Comment in the comments, let me know, because I'm interested. And if you like this video, drop me those likes, because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.